To this computer. All right. So Debbie Tobin, you are the customer marketing arm. I guess you'll tell me your exact title, but I just know you're for Debbie from CET Painting.
Right.
And that's Carlos Curry. I don't know what the E stands for, but I'm thinking Carlos something Curry Painting, but I could be wrong. Uh,
Right.
isn't that his kids? His kids' name?
That's his middle name.
Ah, okay. There you go. There you go. And if somebody wants to contact CET Painting, you're the one to contact. You're the first point of contact, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy to set up, tell them a little bit about us, find out what they need, and set up an estimate for them. Happy to do that.
Gotcha. And if we were in an elevator and a homeowner was asking you, so what do you do? Um, I'm thinking I need a painter, maybe. What would be the summary? What would be the album cover remarks there?
Sure. So, you know what, Phil, whether it comes to interior, exterior painting, we would be happy to help any homeowner out. We would come in, we would do an estimate. We would detail everything that needed to be done, give them their estimate in writing, and stick with our pricing and just do a flawless job for them.
Gotcha. So you do interior and exterior.
Yes.
And I know you do both firsthand.
Yes.
And what areas do you cover? So we both live in Westchester County. We're kind of neighbors.
Right.
What's the market footprint that you cover?
So we started out really in Westchester is our biggest market, but Westchester, Putnam, and Rockland. And then over the last couple of years, we've expanded to Connecticut, to Manhattan, and to Long Island. And hence, that's where my role in CET came into play. I do a lot of business development because obviously expanding into all those areas, it's hard for Carlos to cover everything. So I really kind of help him form new relationships, both in Westchester and outside.
Well, this much I know about contractors in general, and probably especially painters. Your business isn't going to grow if you're not doing quality work. And
Absolutely.
I can say you're doing quality work till I'm blue in the face. So could you, right? But
Hmm.
the proof to any member of the public is, you are growing. And Carlos is not the one running around doing the networking. He needs you. He's got great teams. He's got great staff, and the proof is in the pudding. The results show
Hmm.
that um, you guys are kicking some tail and taking some names. So
Thank you.
that is a good thing. Um, for us, in the real estate space, sometimes we know, and we kind of have to deliver the idea to someone that you might want to get this painted. And sometimes it's not that we have to tell them to paint something. They'll ask us. They'll ask
Right.
us, who do you know? And the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth is cheap. Who's reasonable? Reasonable now has become cheap, right?
Hmm.
And I know that, especially if someone is looking to sell their home, or
Hmm.
if they just bought a home and they're going to be living there for the next 10, 20, 30 years, in both instances, having a professional will always have return on investment. I'll give you a good example. So we're in, I forget where, I think it was Hartsdale. And this guy had expired with another broker, which is rare in this market, but it was a few years ago. Expired with
Hmm.
another broker. And we're in his living room. And it's got this like really high gloss, kind of institutional, shiny
Right.
walls paint in his living room.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I'm like squinting. It's not very relaxing.
Right.
So, one of the things that you will bring to the table is actually like advice, right?
Yes.
Like this is the type of finish that you want. So, tell me a little bit about that. What do you advise a homeowner in general on finish?
Sure. No, that is a great question. And yeah, so every sheen has specific advantages. And so you want to use like maybe an example, a flat or a matte finish is great. Like if you're in dealing with walls that have a lot of imperfections. And it's also probably better for low traffic areas. Eggshells probably more has a slight glow. It's usually ideal for living rooms and bedrooms. A more of a satin finish is like a velvety sheen, and that's perfect for kitchen and baths and trim. And then there's semi-gloss, which is it's durable and it's easy to clean. Very good if you have young children or pets that, bruise up against the walls. It's also good for trims, doors, and cabinets. But you're absolutely right. Different finishes give a very different look, and the whole durability issue comes into play as well.
Is there a difference in durability between like a matte or something with a higher gloss? Is there like a
Probably your most any as long as number one you use different finishes, and if you use the right finish and the right paint, they're all going to be durable. Probably semi-gloss and like a high gloss are probably your most durable, but it's more important, like what you said earlier, to get the right sheen for the right type of conditions.
so if I'm in like a kitchen, a higher gloss is a thing because that's going to be like high impact. There's going to be
Yeah,
things
or
splattering
like a
up on the
satin, it
wall.
has like a little, it has a velvety sheen, but not too much of one.
Okay,
That's a good, that's great for kitchens.
gotcha. And brand matters, I'm thinking,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So tell me
So
about that.
we will use like if somebody really feels very sure about a specific brand, we'll use what they want. If they leave it up to our recommendations, the two that we probably use the most frequently are Benjamin Moore and Sherwin-Williams. Those are just two solid, and even within those brands, um, there's like little certain lines that are, better. Like Benjamin Moore has what's called a Regal Select, and we just find that that has a real smooth, durable finish. And Sherwin-Williams has a line called Emerald, very long lasting color and just great coverage. But these are the types of when we meet with somebody, we can take a lot off their plate by just, being able to recommend and give them some suggestions on what might look best in their home.
Right. And when you meet with somebody, this is where you're going to do like a whole assessment, like a whole intake.
Yeah,
Are their kids going to be throwing stuff against the wall?
right.
Are we going to have to wipe this down, twice a day?
Yes.
Is stuff going to get moved? Um, I would even imagine like I've been in rooms where the color changes because of the amount of light that hits the wall
Sure.
sometimes,
Yes.
and other parts never sees light, and it just starts to change over time, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. You are 100%. Then you get into what color you're going to use, and you're 100% right. Lighting matters. The time of day that you're looking at it matters. We can give suggestions like if it's going to be a two-tone paint, what two colors may go well together. But all those things determine whether something's going to look okay or it's going to look excellent, and we're happy to give our opinions when meeting with the people, and it's after hearing what look they're looking to achieve. Obviously that plays into it as well.
Yeah, you start with their goals first and go from there, right? And make the
Yes, yeah.
recommendations. So one of my favorite, kind of, this is not as bad as it looks stories is always, and we see this a fair amount with older housing stock in Westchester and the surrounding counties, and that is the paneling, right?
Yes.
So I grew up in a in a house. We had a playroom that my parents added on in the 60s. And that had like
Yeah.
that 60s era paneling. And
Right,
that was
right,
there for decades.
right.
And then at one point I thought, what do I do here? And I remembered like ages before a um a broker that I knew upstate talking about how it's not that big a deal. You don't have to rip it
Mhm,
down. You don't
mhm.
have to put new sheetrock. All you need to do is prime it and paint it. And I called him just to make sure. Am I remembering this right? And no, it's right. It's right. You don't need paneling's not that big.
Right.
It's a wall,
Yeah, yeah.
right? You can paint it.
Yeah, homeowners have so much on their mind when they are buying or selling, and so does the realtor. They wear a lot of different hats, and you're 100% right. That's where you can come in and say, "Hey, you know what? This paneling looks great. Let's paint it a lighter color. Make sure, it looks new. Do a little prep if you need to, but it doesn't have to be a huge undertaking. So there's so many other things to think about, when moving in or moving out of a home. 100% right, Phil.
Yeah. So that's good to know. And it's a relief for a lot of people. And sometimes they need to hear
Yeah.
more than one person tell them.
Yes.
They're like, you can paint it. It's
Yes,
fine. Oh,
you
but
can
what about
paint
the
it.
ridges? Yeah, ridges are fine.
Right.
We 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 come from an era of, like almost popcorn ceilings. So
Yes.
you're gonna be okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what should, if I am, looking at the same things that a new homeowner or somebody preparing their house is looking at, what should you ask your painter, your prospective painter?
Right.
What are the interview questions that you look for, that you get?
Great question, because you always want to have the right person in your home. So, for starters, first impressions matter. So when you call a company, they should be picking up the phone, obviously, especially during business hours, or at the very least, if they need to call you back, they should be very responsive and happy to hear from you. It's business. You want to make your customers happy. So first impressions do totally matter, and it's important to come across as that you're interested and you care about your employees. And I'll just stick this in. That's where we're like really most proud, because our number one referral source is past customers. So, that always makes us happy. So you want somebody who then is responsive. They can kind of come out, especially again, we're dealing with realtors. Their time frame is tight. They may be trying to get a few people, few different tradesmen from a few different lines in the house at the same time. So we try to accommodate. We try to make a realtor's life easier. We come when we say. We come hopefully when it's convenient from you. We, take a good look at the property. Interior and exterior painting are usually the two main reasons we're called into a home. And from there, we do an estimate. And we do an estimate. And as I had mentioned earlier, we do it in writing. We include everything we're going to do. We don't eyeball and say, oh, Phil, this should take like 2 days. It's going to be around X amount. We want to tell you everything we're going to do for that amount of the money. Probably the most important thing, you think it's the paint in painting, but you know what? It's the prep work, whether it's exterior or your interior walls. If you've done a good job prepping, then the rest of the job usually goes very smooth. So we will walk around with the customer, see what they would like to do. Um, it's also important then from a customer's point of view, it's always a good idea for them if they can to take a look after the painter has prepped, but before they paint. That's a good time to just assess that everything looks like very neat and ready to be painted. A contractor that might decide to cut corners. They don't do the proper prep work, and it might look good for a few weeks, but within a couple months, it does start to show in the paint if it's not prepped properly. Um,
Poor work will
once
always show up fast. I mean, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, yeah. And that's the other thing. One of the things you do want to ask any tradesman is how long, what is your warranty process? Like ours is 2 years, because we know we're going to do everything right and we can stand behind it. And I'll be honest with you, we get called back very little in those 2 years because we do not cut corners. Um, so I guess next is, let's say they hire you again. People's timelines are sensitive these days. You come, you do the job all in one phase, you stay there, you don't come and go. So we just believe in excellent communication. We have a crew leader there that talks with the homeowner each day. This is what's going to go on tomorrow. So the homeowner always knows what to expect. We use, it goes without saying, the high quality paints. We pack up each night. We leave our things there in the home, but they're all packed up neatly. And before we start the paint job, we move the furniture in the middle of the floor. We cover everything. So it's just we respect people's belongings and their home. Another probably key thing is our crews are with us. The painters that we do hire, it's word of mouth. They've been with us for a long time. We do hold monthly sessions where we're updating them on customer service skills. And again, respect and being on someone else's property is just so important to us. But there's also safety precautions and safety things. There might be something new in the market. So whatever they need to be trained in to be good employees in someone's home, we take the time to do that. And we treat our employees well. We try to treat our employees as well as we treat our customers, because you treat your employees well, they treat, the bulk of them treat you well, back. So
I know that firsthand. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Let's suppose a couple of weird scenarios here. So let's suppose
Sure.
you're in an older home and someone actually says to you, you know, this molding, I have a feeling underneath that paint is some really good wood, but I don't have the energy to expose it, or should I just keep it painted? Do you ever just sand something down and stain it if it's like, really good molding, like gumbo,
Sure.
that sort of thing?
Yeah, and we'll give you, we can usually do that through at the estimate process, like say, no, I think this is really good. I think if we just stain it this, and we might be able to show you some pictures. But yes, we will go, depending, some people just want, they're about to sell, so they just want it to stain and it'll look nice. So we'll try to take into account what your goal is because the new homeowner may come in and decide to do something totally different. So
Yeah.
we'll take into account, are you staying in the home? Are you selling it? And try to give advice based on that.
So here's a paint job I never did. I pushed back, but I have an exposed brick fireplace, like a lot of
Oh,
people do.
okay. Yes.
And there was a time when it was fashionable to paint the brick.
Yes.
And I didn't want to do that. But if somebody wants to, I suppose you could paint the brick, right? And there's got to
Yes.
be some sort of paint that's not gonna by osmosis get, you know, melted.
Yeah, no, we would have to take a look at the condition of the fireplace and all that, but
Yeah.
we could certainly paint it. Sometimes it's adding, a little shelving to it, or we can kind of come up with a couple of recommendations of what we think, might look good for that person, and it will try to stay, you're right. Is the house old? Is it new? What look are they trying to go for? But we can certainly recommend, what we think might work best for them.
And if somebody on the exterior of their house wanted like a distressed brick kind of look, you could do that.
Yes.
Okay. Here's another one.
Okay.
This was a pain in the neck, and I saw some. I'm a kid when I saw this done,
Right.
and it stunk, and I thought I'd never want to, but cast iron railing, cast iron fencing, things like that.
Right.
That's something you guys can do. You
Yes,
can
it
paint
is.
cast
Yes,
iron.
it is. Yep.
God bless you. I
So,
don't
well, you know what? It's always easier, obviously painting is our main focus,
yeah.
but there's little things you really kind of want to get the most out of a company you can. So we have tried to pick up little certain things like with helping people with their railing and things like that that just, you can include in the scope of the work. Because again, usually there's a time factor involved in for a lot of people, especially when they come to us through a realtor.
And I would imagine this time of year you're probably doing a little more outside, right? Because the weather's
Yes.
conducive to it. You're not going to do
Yeah.
exterior like in, February.
Yeah, anything above 50 degrees, the weather does matter. So obviously, when we're doing someone's exterior, if it's a horrible rainy day, that's a day, we will always do what's in the best interest for the customer. We won't just show up because this was on the agenda today. If the weather's horrible, or if it gets too humid or goes above a certain degree, you really shouldn't be painting outside. So,
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah.
Okay. And yeah, exterior is like a big deal these days, this time of year. That's for sure. And let's suppose I don't need a big job. Let's suppose, I need, I have a college kid move out and oi, look what this room needs some, but the rest of the house is okay. Like the headache many homeowners and agents run into is that we have plenty of contractors in our Rolodex, but they're always looking for the big fish. They're looking for,
Hmm. Hmm.
I want to paint the whole house. I want to do the whole exterior. I want to do, but you guys have, you can shrink it down, right? So tell me about
We,
that.
yeah. So this is one of the things I love about Carlos and his company. He will take the big job, he will take the little job, and he puts the same amount of thought and time into both. And he just that's things like that make my life so much earlier. He's not just looking at the bottom line, how much money I can make. We get called for very small jobs and we show up and that's what somebody needs. That's what somebody needs. And for the one last thing that when you're talking about the outside, probably the key prep steps when you're doing your exterior, it when we do somebody's exterior, we pressure wash it, we scrape, we sand, and we prime. Again, it's the whole prepping. That's what makes your house beautiful and lasts for a long time. It's all in the prep work.
And that's the hardest thing, especially for a homeowner. You can get a couple of teenagers and schlep, glop a bunch of rollers
Yeah,
on, but that's not going to last very long if you haven't done the
right.
prep work. And the prep work is really where the pros separate themselves from the
Hmm.
weekend warriors, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
funny, you don't think people look at the end result and the color, but nothing's right if the prep work wasn't done correctly
Yeah. Yeah.
or if somebody skimped on it.
That's the bulk of the resources in my experience,
Mhm.
really. And look, we're in Westchester, we're New Yorkers, and there's all kinds of people are grabbing their wallets about liability and everything like that. You guys have got all your your permits and licenses and
Yeah.
insurance and all that stuff together. The government loves you and all that, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? A homeowner should never be gun shy about saying, hey, you know what? Can I see your license? Can it get, I'd like to, may I see your insurance? I'd like to know what your liability is. Any stand-up company is going to be willing to show that to you. So that is important. And yes, we're licensed wherever we work. That is key. And the other thing that's key is take a minute, look up, with the access to the computers and Google. We have probably about 300 Westchester Google reviews. And just, I read reviews all the time. I could be buying a shirt and I'm reading a review. And it's unbelievable the amount of information that people are willing to share. And you know what? It's really happy customers, but you know what? We really don't have any poor reviews, but for those companies that haven't done right by somebody, boy, those customers like to go on and let them know, hey, was not happy. So take advantage of all the information that's at your fingertips.
See, that says a lot. See, 300 positive Google reviews.
Mhm.
That is, you can't fake that.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're long. We have a lot of long-lasting relationships, which are just that it just makes us so happy. You really, and you know it from your business. Anytime you're dealing with somebody for the second and third time, there's just a familiarity that takes place, and it's so nice because you understand how each other works, and it just makes for just a great relationship and a great experience.
So tell me then, surely you have like there's customers you like, there's customers that, are more challenging. What, how do I make myself a good customer? How do I, we all want the outcome. I want to play my role. I'm the customer. Like what, what, what makes a good customer?
Well, you know what? A customer who's, I guess, upfront with their expectations, but I like to take accountability for that on our side. We should be asking the right questions. And really, like when I'm dealing, especially in a buying, selling situation with the realtor, I'm really listening for, is price the most important thing? Is the time constraint the most important thing? Is um, we have furniture, we have a couple of unusual situations. Can you help me with this? So I really look for, and really Carlos really looks for, just where can he get in there and just pick up on the things that are really important to the customer. And be very honest about like what we can do and how we would do it because communication, that communication is key.
Everything. Yeah.
And and it comes into play again when we're finishing a job. We try to do that walkthrough with the customer the day before the job ends and say, hey, Phil, look at this. Come through this. Do you like this? Are you happy with this? Because on that last day, if we know a little bit in advance, it helps our schedule and it helps us finish on time for you. If you take that time and you do that walkthrough with us, if there's something you're not happy with, we will address it. And I've seen us, for the most part, knock on wood, everything goes very smoothly. But there's always that job here and there we might lose money on. But I will say one thing, we will not walk away till the customer says that they are happy,
Yeah.
even if it meant a little less money in our pockets. Like that's
Long
how we've
game.
been in
Yeah.
business over 20 years.
Yeah.
In
That
the end,
that's
it's worked.
the relationship's more important in the
Yes,
long run than winning every single category
absolutely.
of monetary
Absolutely.
measurement, right? So, some people, and this popped into my head, some people have homes that are so old it's plaster. Any difference between plaster and sheetrock in your?
That maybe a little bit about how they prep it or sand it, but no, they can deal with both very well.
Okay. And is it true that you can actually paint aluminum siding?
Yes, you can.
You can.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I did, but and that's kind of forever, isn't it? Isn't that like, because it's not wood.
Yeah, you know what? I'd have to get, and I'll be very honest with you, I'd have to check out how long, if it lasts the same amount as wood siding, but I know they do it all the time.
It's got to be longer. It's got to be, they used to refer to it as maintenance free siding, right?
Right, yes.
But is there any siding you can't paint? Like, I don't know, I have hardy board now, but is anything that you'd say to someone, no, I can't paint this.
No, and if they saw something when they came to do an estimate, like some reason, the condition of it, or um, they would be totally honest up front. Hardy
Yeah.
board is one of our big go-tos right now. Very, very popular.
Yeah, it's very good. And let's see, the wallpaper. Is that in
Yes.
your
That's in
toolkit?
our wheelhouse, Phil.
Okay.
So yeah, happy to and more and more people, it's funny because that was a thing of the past a little bit, but bathrooms it's very big in and entry halls
Yeah.
or even doing half of the wallpaper and the other half paint. But yes, also popular and we totally do that as well.
Right. I have a funny wallpaper story. We had wallpaper in our kitchen. We had a 1962 kitchen, and we took the wallpaper down and found older wallpaper.
Yeah.
I gave up. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And is there any other kind of, wally kind of thing you do? I mean, I've tried to hit on like every possible interior and exterior siding, but what about those epoxy floors they put in some garages and stuff? You guys do
Yeah,
that?
we actually do epoxy flooring as well.
Oh,
And you
okay.
are right, very popular in garages and basements. And we
Yes.
do that both commercial and residential. But it really can make some of these rooms like almost it adds an extra room for 3 seasons. If you do the epoxy flooring and the walls right, it's amazing, like some people who might have instruments or kids with loud instruments,
Yeah.
sometimes they make that their practice room, or sometimes somebody likes to putter on special projects, but they really want like a nice room to do it in. So epoxy flooring in garages and basements are pretty popular. Has
Okay.
to be over 50 degrees too. You have to watch the temperature when you're going to do epoxy flooring, though.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah,
I'm glad I
good
asked that. That one
question.
popped into my head. I take notes and that was not on my notes. It just popped into my head. Well, what else would be, like a good thing for an agent or a homeowner for that matter to know about, you know, what makes up a good painting contractor like you guys.
Right. It's probably a lot of the points that we covered. It's just a communication, feeling valued from that first phone call on. And when that estimator comes, that they and again, they back it up in writing, but just that they cover everything that you need done and they give you ideas on, maybe a different way to do it or have you thought about this? And just it really comes down to just delivering what you promised with high quality paints or materials and having people in your home who are respectful. It's really like all the basics.
Yeah.
But if not, if you're missing them, that's a problem.
Yeah, well, I got to say the intake, the whole, asking the questions, finding out what the goals are, all of that is that's crucial,
Hmm.
because you can't how did Joe Rand say it? Treatment without diagnosis is malpractice, right? You
Yeah.
can't just slop
Hmm.
goo up, right? I mean, you got to know what the people want and you have
Yeah.
to advise them, right?
And And probably is again, once even we get the job and signed, sealed, and delivered, and it's walking the customer through, okay, this is what you want to do like the night before we come. This is what's going to take place on Monday and Tuesday. By Wednesday, we should be doing this. And all goes well, we should be done by Friday. Are you available on Thursday for the walkthrough? And just keeping, and again, we try to hopefully a customer demands this, but hopefully we offer it before they ever have to demand it.
Okay. Now, some people might be watching this on a mobile phone or whatever. So I've got this right. It's to reach you, it's 914-538-4036. And I'll put your contact information in the remarks
Sure.
of the
I'd be
video
happy
as
to
well.
answer any other questions or anything that anybody has. And yeah, happy to help. And yeah, Phil, thank you so much for including me in on this today.
Well, look, full disclosure, I had my own agenda. You guys did the inside of my house, right? And the outside. So I'm a happy customer.
Oh,
So that's why.
thank you. Glad to
Um,
hear that.
but yeah, anybody that's looking for like a really good, reasonably priced, I didn't say cheap, I said reasonably
Mhm.
priced, fair, total pro
Mhm.
operation, you are always my first choice because I had firsthand experience and I'm still ecstatic.
Oh,
So that's the
thank you.
thing.
That
And when you make me look good, baby, that's the
yeah.
that's the
And
holy grail.
that's our goal, to make you look good, Phil.
Love it. Love it. And I think that we will in post-production put up a couple before and after pictures.
Yes,
Which may look weird because I refer to it like we haven't done it yet, but there's things we do called editing,
right.
and we will do that. And Debbie, I can't thank you enough. I've known
Yeah,
you for years. You have always underpromised and over-delivered, and I expect that anybody that engages you is going to be about as happy as I've been.
yeah. No, and thank you, Phil. And you know what? We love dealing with your real estate company as well. You guys go 100% over too, so it makes it a really good relationship for us both.
Thank you.